Today we're discussing methamphetamine and the real stories people have shared about it online. Viewer discretion advised. If you enjoy these types of videos, like and subscribe. Let's get into it. This story comes from a Reddit user who claims they use meth for productive reasons, justifying the habit while insisting they're not addicted. I'll let you decide for yourselves. Some parts of the story were poorly written, so I made a few small edits for clarity, but I did my best to keep it as close to the original as possible. I have been using methamphetamine secretly to treat my ADHD since I was 16, AMA. I had tried other drugs, heroin, crack, cocaine, acid, etc., but when I first used meth, it was more than a good feeling. It was being able to focus. I didn't know at the time that I had ADHD, and this was basically like taking superpowered Adderall. I didn't understand the potential it could have in my life if applied correctly. In the beginning, you don't know how to function on it like someone who got drunk for the first time compared to an alcoholic. Once I saw past the recreational use, I saw productive use. I could work longer hours. Complete what would normally be a half-ass assignment became an interest and a challenge. But it was about 2 years of tweaking my dosages, timings, before I had control over my use. At the time, I had a good life, not much to complain about, so when I came down, I still was content. And I think that's why I didn't get too heavy into it. I have never injected, and always withdrew myself when I saw I was tempted. I have had to hide it for 3 years because, to be honest, I cannot stop, but at most take 3-month breaks. On this last year, I've been able to sleep and eat on meth. I have been using marijuana for 5 years. The marijuana combats the reduced appetite, edginess, and is almost needed to fall asleep at a godly hour. I take a medication for ADHD, dextroamphetamine. It actually kills my cravings and works the same way for focusing, but there is no euphoria, recreational part of it to distract you from getting shit done. When I am short or out of meds, I use meth instead, and nobody can tell the difference, or would. It's hard sometimes because you want to tell people, and there's a social prejudice towards meth users, thieves, con artists, criminals, etc. I have no criminal record. I do not steal. I hate thieves. Although for a year or two, from 15 to 16, I stole bags of pop cans to recycle. Anyways, meth is super unhealthy, I know. So, how do you keep physical side effects at bay? Drink a lot of water, force a regular eating habit until you get used to it, shower at least 3 times a day, slow down when you're walking, Speedy Gonzalez, chapstick, lotion for when your hands and feet start to get cracked and dry, brush and floss regularly. Rectal use, I feel, is the least harmful, if done properly, has 93% absorption through the cell membrane in the rectum, can be done in the time of a restroom use, with little or no paraphernalia, and doesn't hit you so hard, more of a time release. All the cool kids do it. Plus, smoking it is a waste. You're wanting another hit, after another hit, and another you're out of meth. There's 3 hours sitting in a chair. 3 searching the carpet opposite of where you smoked for breadcrumbs that looks like meth, true story. Many side effects is really just dehydration and sleep deprivation. If you can keep yourself fed and hydrated, well-groomed, don't work your body too hard, just take your time. Normal people notice when you ramble about how you rooted your phone on Android and how you did and flail. 1 number marijuana allows you to sleep, eat, blow off any odd behavior as, I'm stoned, dude. My first world problem is that I have to force myself to eat food. Squirrel, that's my one and only confession from Let's Call Me Gremlin. The last thing is, if you're starting out, don't tell anyone. Ever lie and make up anything but the truth, because the label of a drug addict is, I've found impossible to get rid of. Even if you're just another schoolboy working hard, it's only a matter of saying yes, I do, or no, I don't. I don't like lying about it, but I feel I have to. Otherwise, I'd be putting my housing, food, school at risk. They'd try to put me through rehab, which I'd be able to do no problem. I am physically dependent. I can go 3 months without. After that time period, I have a tweaker version of a period. My time of the month where I literally feel an instinct, undeniable drive to use, which drives me crazy and those around me until I use. I can't say I regret using, but I regret telling anyone I ever used, even my best friends. I am confident in my ability to take care of myself and those around me, and believe my meth use is a personal choice, and should be left alone unless it's actually harming others besides myself. If you are a fellow drug addict, keep your chin up. It doesn't make you any lesser of a person, and you have the same potential as the next person beside you. People don't mind drug addicts. People do mind you asking for $20 so you can get food tonight for your sick grandmother, which you promise to pay back on almost to confident promises. Just keep it a personal problem. Doctor doesn't need to be told, but I would if you feel you have a good connection. Cheers. Be good to friends and family. Don't lie for money, whether you get caught or not. It is enabling that craving to do it again right after, when you should really eat, shower, and go to sleep, maybe after a doobie. P.S. If you're wondering what dextroamphetamine is like for ADHD, it works like meth, but without the recreational, high serotonin dopamine release. It's better than meth for mental focusing and productivity, because you know the difference between a good idea and a stupid idea. Unlike on meth, where you may find yourself cleaning up a lot of flail all for some project that was doomed from the start, formed on artificial state of good feelings about your ideas or choices, not reflecting your inner wants or needs, but the first shit you can thing of. Like I was supposed to write for 5 minutes and now I've been typing for like half an hour on a post that probably won't make it past 35 likes. Many users quickly jumped in, urging him to quit, saying he was already heavily addicted. They also pointed out that since he already had prescribed ADHD medication, there was no reason to keep using meth. Dude, fucking stop doing meth. You have psychiatric drugs now, which means you're only on it because you want the high, not the benefits, which means you do still need to go to rehab, since you have relapses, and are justifying the use of a drug which tricks your mind into justifying it when you have a better solution in hand. One user asked what the OP was studying, and that's when the full truth came out. He hadn't even graduated high school. After that, he went into an explanation of how he supposedly controls his urges to use. What are you studying in school? Do you plan to quit after any period of time? I'm not a user, but I am generally curious and fascinated that you have this control. I am not really studying, but completing my high school. I dropped out in grade 10 when I was introduced to weed. Again, I had to learn to function on it. Although trigonometry didn't get through the haze, and after failing like 3 math classes they passed me without ever taking the exam, thank the gods. I know I don't have to quit, but simply take long breaks. At this time in my life, I don't have many friends. I just moved, no girlfriend. So I am a bit bored and sometimes use recreationally. Controlling your use is literally like battling the part of you that says, get more. You can just say no. You need to believe and convince yourself of the benefits of not using over the benefits of using. Not let yourself take any more after you decide this is the last one for, say, 2 weeks a month. The marijuana makes it really easy to not use, I find, and makes the breaks easy. I do not have 100%, but like a clock that goes off every 3 months where need it, versus right now I want it. It overrides my will, and I have been suggested to have crystal meth dependency disorder. I literally will not want it, but physically in my brain and mind feel it is a need. This is an illusion, and should be my next step of progress in controlling it. Ideally, I would like to not use. Maybe when I stop going to school, I would not need it. I am totally content without it and happy, but it comes on like a cigarette craving, and until your whole mind is just wrapped around that cigarettes. Once you smoke it, you're good for a while, and chain smoking isn't even that pleasant, so taking breaks is a win-win. Reading through that wall of text, it's clear this guy is addicted, even if he doesn't want to admit it to himself. He even admits he uses meth recreationally, not just for the therapeutic reasons he claimed at the start of the post. Don't you fear you might slip and have it become a recreational drug again after using it for so long? Would you say that when you get stressed or maybe feel depressed for whatever reason, you would crave the drug? Does it seem to be a way out? In your case, it might actually be. I say might just because I'm skeptical about self-medicating with meth. I don't doubt that it has a positive effect due to the ADHD, but I wonder if there might be a less addictive and maybe more benign alternative. Also, I wonder if you used it before writing this. Maybe it's the formatting, as another user mentioned. Best of luck anyways, and props the self-control. That one comment sent the OP into a spiral of back-to-back replies to himself. It's honestly hard to read, because you can tell he's completely off the rails. I haven't used recreationally for 2 weeks, and I departed yesterday. If you're wondering how this will mix with social, etc., I will take a few sleeping pills or worst case some heroin to fall asleep before school, or pull an all-nighter and pretend it's just another Monday. You're spot on. Yes, today I got straight to the point. I'm on a recreational dose, so I feel a good feeling. Note that this will not make you feel what I call content, knowing in truth that your life is okay versus feeling that chemical high. I wish I had an example of how I type when properly dosed, because how I've been typing lately clearly displays the unproductive brain-damaging side of meth, resembling something like a drunk or a person on drugs. Sometimes I will forget words I knew and have to remember/relearn them. It isn't a slip to me, as long as I am still getting my attendance in, completing work, and taking care of those kind of things. It is just a choice of whether you are willing to sacrifice a bit of mental and physical health for your pleasure. I occasionally use recreationally. I see it as a vacation, but you shouldn't go on a vacation after, like, a tragic event happened, or else you wouldn't enjoy it as much. What I mean is, I like to use it recreationally when things are going good. It feels 2 times better. So I'll try to be as honest as possible. Yes, sometimes I get depressed and use, but rarely. I go down after I'm high, but I am content with my life. I am in my heart happy. But the brain pays the penalties of having less serotonin and dopamine, but I rarely get depressed. More users chimed in saying he was clearly addicted and that his justifications were getting more and more unhinged. He could barely put together a coherent sentence, just non-stop rambling. Many urged him to get into rehab and quit for good, but it didn't seem like he was willing to accept it. You have no idea how addicted you are. The raw truth is that you found an excuse you truly believe in. You should get help immediately. I know you won't, but you're in deep. People are gonna stop asking questions because it's apparent you're some young druggie grasping at a million straws to justify your meth use. You seem here hoping people here will sympathize with you and tell you it's okay. For fuck's sakes, you never watched how people act in that show Intervention. They use justifications just like you. Get help. Get real. Stop lying to yourself. Dude, you're tweaking super hard right now. Your focus is there, but it's like a speeding train. You're on a single rail and can't change thought direction. Yes, meth could possibly help ADD, but the problem is it feels too good, and you'll go overboard on it like right now. Stay away from harsh stimulants for a while. You're on a very slick road, and this could very well turn very wrong in the future. Rationalizing meth use is a very, very bad sign. This is the definition of self-medicating, and you need to understand it. It was surreal reading these posts. Like one user pointed out, the OP was clearly addicted, but just didn't want to admit it. The post is over 11 years old, and he never made another update. Hopefully he eventually realized what was happening and got help, but I guess we'll never know. That's gonna wrap up today's video on methamphetamine and the stories people shared online. If you got something out of this, leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives. And if you're struggling with substance use, please reach out for help. You're not alone. Thanks for watching.